ESIDENT got me seeing souls, they hybrids in my eye beams, but I've been looking blindly. Gave my soul up for perfect timing. A desert cat reinvented rhyming. How crazy is that?
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So we actually got the announcement for Resident Evil 4 Remake today. I'm kind of surprised. Did not think it was going to happen this soon. Apparently it's not coming out until next year. I am pretty excited about it, but there are some things I wanted to talk about because I'm kind of worried about this. I really am. I've been worried for months now. I knew this game was coming ever since I played Resident Evil 8. I've been worried that they were going to do what it looks like they did. Like pretty much everything I was worried about, it looks like they actually went ahead and did. But before we get into that, because I don't want to sit here and just completely bash Resident Evil 4 for this entire video, because I actually do like Resident Evil 4. So let's just start out with some of the things I did like. Obviously, the game looks pretty. Yeah, it does really look pretty. That's it. Did you think there was more? Because that's all I really had to say. So now let's get into the stuff I'm worried about. They're reusing all of the same assets. I knew they were gonna do this. I even said it in my Resident Evil critique video for RE8. I knew they were gonna take all of these assets and just put them all in it, not change anything, not reskin them. Maybe a couple are reskinned here or there. The only difference between the aesthetic of this game and the aesthetic of that game is going to be the simple fact that Resident Evil 8 was in the snow. Watch the castle be almost exactly the same as Castle Dimitrescu from Resident Evil 8. It's going to happen. I guarantee it. Watch, it's going to happen. Now, okay, to be fair, I get it. They're trying to save money. And so they're putting it together like this simply to save on money, because they want to save time. They want to get this game pushed out the door. It is Capcom, and we all know that Capcom likes money, and we all know that Capcom will do whatever they have to do to make money. Look at Resident Evil 3 Remake. If nothing else, that proves that Capcom is totally in the business of just slapping stuff together, sending it out the door, and asking you for your money. Now, to be fair, okay, maybe I shouldn't be this worried about it. Can you really blame me? Do you remember Resident Evil 3 Remake? Now, before you say, oh, another game studio made that, which is fair, I get that, they still made it in conjunction with Resident Evil 2. Capcom didn't have to release RE3 in the state that it was, but they did anyways. They cut out over half the game. Do you guys remember how long Resident Evil 4 is? The first playthrough is like 18 hours. Like, do you really think they're gonna be able to add all of that content? Now, let's take a trip down memory lane. Leon gets there. He goes to the village. Right, obviously he fights that iconic first zombie who it looks like we saw in the trailer today. But still, he goes through the village. You know, he goes to the church. He goes all the way down towards the lake. He comes back. After he does that, he goes back through the village. Eventually, he makes his way up to that cabin where he fights Luis. You know, he goes through the mining facility. He gets to the castle. You know, once he's in the castle, and he goes through another mining facility. And, you know, eventually he starts going through all that, and he ends up in a factory at one point. And then, you know, the game ends, right? And he goes away on a jet ski. How much of that do you really think they're going to keep in Resident Evil 4 Remake? Not only that, doesn't that sound familiar? Did you play Resident Evil 8? I did. I'm not even necessarily saying it's a terrible game, but let's look back at Resident Evil 8. He goes through a village. He goes through a mining facility. He goes to a castle, and then he goes through a factory. Does this sound familiar at all? We just played this game. And now I know people are going to say you're going to defend it, and that's fine. I understand. Look, I'm not lying when I say I'm excited to play this game. I really am. You know, real quick, one more good thing is that the fact that they got the same guy from Resident Evil 2 Remake to actually play Leon in this game again. Cool. I dig it. You know, that's what's up. At least there's some consistency there, right? But back at the topic at hand, you can't tell me that we didn't just play this game. And RE8 was already pretty much a remake of RE4 anyways. Am I gonna play it? Yeah. Are a bunch of people gonna play it? Yeah. Yeah, we all know you will. We all know you'll probably like it. But I'm just saying, why did we have to repeat all of this? We did not need Resident Evil 4 Remake right now. We didn't. I really feel like we should have made Code Veronica Remake first. At least make it first. Because if later on, if you're going back and replaying all these games, the first thing you're going to notice if you play in order, of release date, is you're going to play RE8, and then you're going to play RE4 Remake, and it's going to feel almost like the same game. Sure, RE8, they got werewolves. But just looking back at the path that the main characters go through, it's almost an identical thing. Don't believe me? Check this out. Ethan goes to that village for what reason? To save his daughter. Leon goes to that village for what reason? To save the president's daughter. It's the same game. Now, if you've already clicked off the video and you're in my comment section right now, like leaving me an essay being like, hey dude, you don't know what you're talking about, the games are not similar at all. For everybody else who hasn't done that, can you really say that these aren't the exact same plots again? Why do they keep redoing the same plots? I don't get it. Capcom, show some creativity. For the love of God. Like, I'm not even joking. I'm not playing around. You guys really need to go back to the drawing board. I don't know, maybe try to make a plan for like the next 3 games or something. Because this is getting ridiculous, Capcom, and you know it is. You're just rehashing the same stuff over and over again, which is fine. I get you want to make money. I understand why you're doing it. But I'm just saying, like, do you want to make this bigger than it currently is? Then maybe change some things up. Do you want to be the innovators in the Resident Evil series, or do you want to literally be just like the Resident Evil movies? Should I even say any more? I'm pretty sure you understand what I'm saying when I say you don't want to be the Resident Evil movies. But I digress. Let's move on to another thing that's bothering me about this. Another thing I'm kind of worried about is I'm pretty sure they're probably going to end up streamlining the campaigns together. And what I mean by that is when you played the original RE4, you played it through as Leon and then you unlocked separate ways. You got to play it again as Ada to see what she was doing. Mark my words, I'd be willing to bet money on it. It's not going to be 2 different campaigns. It's going to be one singular campaign. What I'm afraid of, and I really hope this doesn't happen, but I really think this game is going to end up being severely cut down. Severely. And it's going to end up maybe having like a 3-4 hour runtime. Because they're just going to like put everything together in some kind of weird amalgamation of the current canon and just like somebody else's offhand retelling of the story. Now, you know what would be cool though, is if we got to relive when the president died. I would enjoy that. I'd give them props for that if they did that, but I would be kind of surprised if they did that, simply based on the fact that it really doesn't look like they're going to be giving us more than they really have to. And that's just been Capcom's MO lately. Now, I will say, being able to play this in VR would be awesome. I actually have this on the Oculus Quest. I've been playing the RE4, the original, on Oculus Quest, and I gotta say, it is amazing. It just hits different being able to stand in front of the merchant and literally look at him. Like, it's incredible. If you don't have Oculus Rift, or if you do, and you want to play this game and you've been on the edge, do it. Do it, I'm telling you. Like, honestly, if you can afford it, go out and buy an Oculus simply so you can play this game. Like, RE4 in VR kicks ass. And I'm actually excited about playing RE8 in VR. But the thing is, I can already do that. Yeah, so if you're watching this video and you didn't know, there have already made mods for pretty much all the Resident Evil games, all the first person ones, all the third person ones, where you can already play it in VR. I've already played Resident Evil 2 Remake in VR, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool being able to walk around the police department. It really was. So if you want to do that, don't sit here and just wait for PlayStation VR, especially if you have an Oculus. Just use that, go online, I guarantee you can find it. Just type in Resident Evil VR, you'll be able to find the mods. It's really easy to put in, and you can do it right here, right now. And I'm pretty sure they've actually already made a VR mod for Resident Evil 8. You don't need to waste your money, okay? Don't give Capcom more of your money. Just go download that. You're gonna be fine. It's gonna be amazing. You'll thank me for it. Go do it. Go do it right now. It's pretty cool. It really is. But back on to Resident Evil 4. I'm just worried about it. You know, I mean, if it's anything like the way Capcom has been treating their games lately, it's gonna be butchered. I mean, I hope it isn't butchered. Now that I think about it though, there are some sections of the game that I think it would actually benefit Resident Evil 4 for them to actually change the story a little bit. Number one is I got really sick and tired of having to protect Ashley all the time. I know a lot of people have. That's why we get the whole Leon help that meme going on, because there was just too many times when we had to do that. So you know what, if they want to cut some of that out, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Like, make us do it once, twice max. I'm totally fine with that, as long as they're not completely deleting entire sections of the game, which I honestly think they probably will. I would be kind of surprised at this point if we fight that lake monster. Considering the fact that they got rid of the worm from Resident Evil 3, I would probably be a little surprised if they kept the lake monster. Especially, you know, another thing is because we just fought a lake monster boss in Resident Evil 8. Again, RE8 is pretty much a remake of Resident Evil 4 already. You know, and not just that, but the RE4, it holds up pretty well. The only thing that I don't like about RE4 is that the control scheme is a little dated. I'll give you that. The combat is clunky and it's a little bit dated. It really is. Now, if you're playing it in VR, it's not that bad. It's pretty good. Because obviously you don't have to push, you know, down to move up and right to move left and blah blah blah. I'm sure you already understand what I'm saying. But the simple fact is we didn't really need it. There are amazing RE4 HD mods out there that change all the textures in the entire game and makes the game look beautiful. It's fine. You know, it kind of reminds me of the difference between OG Diablo 2 and Project Diablo 2. That's all we really needed. We just needed like a facelift, which your community has already done for you, Capcom. So why are you going and doing this right now? Oh wait, that's right. You want to make money, which is why you're doing this. You know, you don't care that we've already done this for ourselves. You're probably gonna go around and shut those mods down. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. Shit, at this point, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Krauser was taken out of the game. I really wouldn't be surprised, you know? Watch, this game is gonna end up being like 8 hours tops. And everybody's like thinking it's gonna be great. Yeah, it'll be fun, but you know what's gonna happen? My own personal opinion, I'll probably play it, I'll probably think it looks pretty, and then I'll turn around and I'll just play an HD texture pack mod for the original Resident Evil 4. You know, and I don't really want to go into this, but I mean, yeah, I like Resident Evil 4, but at the same time, like, it's kind of the game that pushed the series down the path of no return, you know, and turned it into like a straight up action franchise. I really hope they take that laser scene out of this game. That's another thing. If they did that, okay, I'd be alright with that edit right there. Because it was kind of ridiculous. You gotta admit, it was kind of ridiculous that Leon is like Alice all of a sudden from the movies and like jumping through lasers and stuff and almost an identical scene. I never really got that either. But, it is what it is. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I just don't really see it happening. You know? I mean, trust me, hey, if I'm wrong, I'll be the first person to come on here. I'll make a video and I will just go ahead and talk about how fucking wrong I am. I'm cool with that. I would like it. Because I don't want the game to fail. I don't want the game to be bad. I just don't want to see Resident Evil 3 Remake all over again. And for those people that are saying that Resident Evil 3 Remake's great, no, it's not. It really isn't. You know, it's half of a game. How are you going to tell me that you're going to remake a game? Man, if they made Final Fantasy VII Remake and they just did the first disc, you know how the one game came out and we're supposed to be getting sequels for it? Like, if they did that, where that was it was the one game, right? That's it. They're not going to release sequels for it or anything. People would be pissed. You're going to really tell me people wouldn't be pissed off about that? But they're cool when Resident Evil gets cut in half. You know, it just really goes to show you the mentality of people sometimes. And I'm not saying everybody. I'm not really trying to personally attack anybody in specific, you know. I'm just saying that it just feels like because it looks good, we're giving Capcom a pass. And we need to stop doing that. You know, we need to hold them accountable to this. Because if we don't, I mean, if you're Capcom and you make RE3 Remake, it's half the game, so you got to save money, and people were cool with it, still buying it, wouldn't you just cut RE4 down simply so that you wouldn't have to spend all that money? Because you know you're going to make the money anyways. Now, one thing I would like to see is this little scene here in the trailer where you see, I don't know if it's Ashley or if that's Ada. I can't really tell. I mean, it's a red jacket, so it kind of looks like Ada, but the hair looks blonde. So I'm not sure exactly who it is. My guess is it's gotta be Ashley, because I don't see Ada running through the forest all scared like that. So I'm gonna go with Ashley, but she looks terrified, right? I'm hoping what they do, if they do this would be amazing. Instead of it being so action oriented, they brought it back to the Resident Evil roots and made it more of a horror kind of game. That would be incredible. I would be the first one here singing its praises if they did that. That would be awesome. You know, because that's honestly the one thing that I've never really liked about Resident Evil 4. Even though it's straight up one of my favorite games of all time. I could always say, though, it never quite really hit all the Resident Evil buttons that I was hoping it to actually hit. So if they're going to go in here and change it and make it more of a traditional Resident Evil game, I'm okay with that. And if they want to go ahead and edit out like a lot of the quick time event sequences or things like that, I'm okay with that too. Especially if they really bring it back to more of the survival horror roots. Because I mean, the way it is in the original release is you kill monsters and even though they don't have a gun on them, you still get ammo. And that's just how it is. You know, you kill people, you get money, and then you get to spend the money on upgrading your weapons, and you never really need ammo, and you never really worried about running out of ammo. So I would not be opposed to them changing it up a little bit. And I kind of feel like Capcom is actually trying to hint to us that they're going to do this, because there's one line in the trailer in specific where Leon is talking about his past, and he's saying that ever since the day, of Raccoon City, it's been bothering him. Like, he's got, like, PTSD because of all that, and, like, it just doesn't go away. And, he says something along the lines of, maybe this time it can be different. I can't help but feel like maybe that's, like, an Easter egg that Capcom threw in there, because the game is actually not gonna be what we think it's gonna be. Now, man, that would be epic as fuck if that's what they do. they turn around, they're like, you play the game, it's not really so much action oriented anymore. Even if they got rid of that giant, El Genaico, I don't even remember the name, you know what I'm talking about, El Giganto or whatever. Maybe take him out of the game. I'd be okay with that too if it's more of a horror, like survival horror kind of game. That'd be cool. I would give him props for that. Normally, I'm not the kind of person that likes it when they try to subvert expectations like that, especially when there's no real reason to do it. But I would not be opposed to that whatsoever. The moral of the story is, it's shaping up to be a good game, but I am worried simply based on their track record. I mean, they're doing exactly what they did in the past. They're making too many Resident Evil games. They need to slow down. They just need to pump the brakes a little on this franchise. But hopefully I'm wrong. I guess we'll see when the game comes out. Until then, I don't know. I guess I'll just hope for the best. I guess we'll see what happens, everybody. Thank you for listening to this little rant. And please like and subscribe. Take it easy. And